Restaurant that I'm about to expose, I'm sure they've broken every right at the Labor Relations Act. Just opened, it's in Menlyn. I've been working there for a few days now. So what happened is I went for a job interview. I showed them my CV, I'm in my socials, and I was hired on the spot. And then they told me that I should buy a uniform for this job, right? So a cross belty, a white shirt, black shorts, black apron, black shoes. I was like, okay, you know what? It's fine. I'm gonna buy those things because I'm just grateful that I got the job. It was a bit for me at first because I was like, I've worked at other places previously and I've never had to buy my own uniform, but I was like, hey, it's whatever. I went to work the next day and then there was just like, oh guys, there were more things piling up. As waitresses, Zitibana, we have to buy our own equipment, right? I didn't know about that. So basically, equipment is a bottle opener, a cigar cutter, ndona enye, e-cigarette lighter, cigar lighter. Yeah, but like you buy all of these things yourself out of your own pocket. Mind you, I just spent 1,000 rand on just the uniform, excluding alterations, excluding the transport fees, and now I have to buy the equipment myself. But I was like, you know what, it's fine. This was 10 years into because ndiyafuna usebenza. I had all of these things within the second day that I was working there, only to find out that there is no contract. There's nothing that is legally binding between you and the restaurant. You just go there, you work. If you get fired, you get fired because there's no contract. Most also, tin. How are you going to defend yourself? That was the second red flag for me, actually. And then they were like, we don't have a basic salary. As not basic salary, you make imali with tips. This wasn't discussed with me prior. Diva ngoku emsebenzini ba you make imali with tips. There's like a mandatory tip of 10% that they bill to the customer. But even that 10% tip, the restaurant takes about, I think it's 20%, 30%. I stand to be corrected. Something about breakage and leverage. I don't know. So 10%, they still take imali etil. And when you come into work, you have to pay what they call a runner fee, which is 200 rand. So basically, a runner is someone that assists the waitress. And then you also have to pay your runner at the end of the night. Mhlawumbi wrong, or maybe I don't know how things work, but all of this seemed extreme to me, especially considering the fact that we don't have a basic salary. So fine, I worked there. My first day, it was not smooth sailing because it is my first day. Yes, I've worked at other places, but it's my first time working here. I'm still trying to learn how things work up. Guys, when I tell you what I went through at that restaurant, Zang, I have never gone through that in my entire life, even in my personal life. The way that they treat us, even the way that they talk to us, they make us feel less than, they belittle us. Asina break. You work from 1 p.m. up until 2 a.m. the next day. There's no break. You have to sneak maybe a Red Bull in the bathroom or outside in the corner, even if you're eating ipie yako. We like a manager is gonna walk in and scold you for that. It's so, guys, and I just felt like I had to speak up because there is no ways. I don't even know if the customers know that the employees are being treated this way. You know, but I was like, let me suck this up, yabo. Let me just try my best to make imali. But it's even hard to make kwalamali tips because you find that most of the managers, they're friendly with some of the waitresses, so you could be standing there whole day and not even get tables because they're giving it afile kwichomi zabo when I also sebenza. For example, last week Sunday I went home with a debt to the restaurant. I ended up having to owe the restaurant 20 rand because of leverage and breakage and whatnot. After working from 1 p.m. up until 2 a.m., I ended up owing them. Excuse me. For example, today I've worked so hard, but just because andinikwa itafile mna, mhlawumbi your customers will come, they'll say no itafile kabani bani leyana, no customer kabani bani. You're like, okay, sharp, sure, I see how this is. Today I went home with 100 rand tips. I went home with 100 rand tips today after working from 1 p.m. up until 2 a.m. And I was like, you know what, but it's okay, it's okay. So before work started, we complained that the cutlery are short, things are slow in the kitchen. Then they were like, we are losing the cutlery, therefore everybody is getting fined 200 rand. How are we losing the cutlery? Who is taking it home? Who is losing it where? Like Sipele restaurant, they search our bags when you go home. So where is it being lost? So basically we are buying a cutlery here restaurant because they find all of us 200 rand. That accountant or whatever she is, she gave me this 100 rand. When I tip you find a tata. Then the manager came to me. She's like, Mihlali, we know you're not on the WhatsApp group, but we're finding everyone 200 rand. So ndimbuzo sisiba ndizayifumana happy because ninike 100 rand my tips for the day. This is how much I made from working from 1 p.m. up until a.m. Ndenze 100 rand. So ndizayifumana happy 200 rand cutlery fine. They're like, no, like basically mandizame ndibanike because imali yabo I owe them. Guys, when I tell you my tears were here, like I told myself that, you know what, I'm gonna go home because this is cruel. Like ningolile. Like basically I'm gonna be left at a negative 100 rand after working so many hours because Nina, you don't want to do You don't want to buy your stock or inventory. What is it called as a restaurant? Like, ngithatha kuthi imali yethu. Akhondo. Besides that, the way that they speak to us, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the previous in the part one, the way they speak to you, ingathi awuyonto, ngathi if you even doubt ba kanti ekhaya ndiyathandwa okanye why ndilapha. So basically this other manager, she comes to me and then she's like, tshintsha hairstyle yakho. And I'm like, she's like, ungabuya apha emsebenzini nale hairstyle. Mind you, work ends at 2 a.m. Then we have to be there at 1 p.m. So where am I going to find the time to take out these braids and do another hairstyle? I got no reason why my this change. And I know three other girls that work with the same hairstyle. So I was so confused. Like, ingati they were out to get me because I'm new, or maybe they didn't want me there. Because I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the part one, but even when I came into work today, they were like, "Kotuka zopangela, we are demoting you." Just because I was slow on my first day and still trying to learn the ropes. We're demoting you. I'm like, guys, can I please work because dilapa? I bought the uniform, I paid the transport to come here. Abafuni ivasana. Ngelakha they let me work, but at what cost? Because I only made 100 rand because it actually is for abantu babo. Akhonto. So I'm like, I tell this manager, I'm like, I can change my hairstyle within a few days. She's like, ungaze emsebenzini unale hairstyle. She's speaking English. Yabazi wethu, but kimi ngithetha isiXhosa sami. Uthi, don't come back to work unale hairstyle. Ngomso, which is Friday. Today's Friday, yeah. So I'm like guys, indlela basiphatha ngayo phayana, but more so especially me, like especially mna, because ndimtsha andazi noba kwenzeka ntoni politics aphayana, but ibuhlungu. Some other girls told me that before I worked there, they called them for a meeting and they said that babi nimbatshe nemilenze, babanike gift card zikamake, bathengani makeup, yenzani makeup nibabi. How do you say that to people? Like, guys, into yenzeka pha ibuhlungu. It's so painful and they fine us for everything. Ngathi benza imali ngathi your hair is not up to their standard, fine. Your nails are not done, fine for yonke into nje. Ingathi we are fueling the restaurant. That's noba ndilibize kakuhle la gama, but ingathi sithi ngoku abaqhuba le restaurant. Yho. No, guys, I thought I should speak up because ibuhlungu into yenzeka pha. Like, yeah, I need a serious investigation. I'm mhlawumbi nje soft. Maybe I don't know how things work, but no ways. The first day I worked there, I came home with blisters, bendisopha, guys, because my feet were so sore. Like, but I told myself I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna prove myself. But toxic like environment, they are so mean. The managers, like, mean girls on 100. I told myself nah, and now let 210 zogoduka mna. The fuck off upon them. That go to guys. I like, and now apparently they were looking for me, saying I owe them tomorrow mandizini imali uban endicholaphi imali. Like, basically I spent so much money. I spent so much money, guys, on literally on all of this, like equipment, intoni. I lungisani, if anyone from that restaurant sees this video, lungisani indlela enenza izinto.
Hello everyone, welcome to GNU according to CD, that is Government of National Unity. So guys, this is very upsetting and not surprising at the same time. So because of the GNU, particularly the deportation of illegal immigrants, as you guys already know that in Gauteng in particular, I think that's the guiltiest party when it comes to restaurants hiring illegal foreigners or foreigners for that matter. So now, because all of this is happening and they are realizing if the police had to come here, we will be in trouble. The owner of the restaurant might even get arrested. In fact, they will be arrested for what? For hiring illegal foreigners. Now, what this girl is talking about, it is against the law. Number one, if you are going to work at a restaurant, I worked in the restaurants before when I was a student, and I know for a fact that you are not required to buy any equipment, let alone the uniform, unless they will say if you have a black and a black sorry, if you have a black pants and a white shirt, most of the time it was always like that. Black pants and white shirt. I mean, most guys and most women do have something that is black and white in their closet. I'm talking black pants or black skirt as well as a white shirt. So sometimes that's what they will say. They'll say, if you have that, you are good to go. Unless the uniform is specific with the branding of the restaurant. And this is when the restaurant provides those uniform for you and you do not pay a cent. That's like saying you got a job, but you got to pay for the job. And secondly, When it comes to cutlery, there's no restaurant should ever open its doors without cutlery and must not also open the door without a plan B or plan C or plan D. You know why? Because some patrons of restaurants, if they liked a particular cutlery, they will put it in their bags and they will leave, and nobody searches customers. Nobody searches customers when they leave. So now you need to have another batch of cutleries to replace the ones that were stolen. If it is ceramic plates, people break plates. And I'm talking patrons, sometimes waiters themselves, or depending on the whatever the situation might be. Things do fall and break. The restaurant must have an alternative or another set of ceramic plates to replace the ones that are broken. I mean, there's a whole works of things that needs to be done by a restaurant that a person that works there should not even fork out a cent unless this individual like habitually drops plates and breaks them. Okay, then the restaurant at some point it has to say, listen, we're gonna have to start taking chipping from your salary to replace those plates because you keep breaking them. You understand? So that is why waiters are extremely careful when it comes to cutlery as well as ceramic plates in particular that they do not break. Then, when it comes to the tips, this is the part where I kept saying to you guys that illegal foreigners, because they do not have the legal rights that what do you call this South Africans enjoy, particularly the Labor Relation Act, which I actually came to learn that no, it's not only for South African, it's for everybody, whether you are a foreigner or a South African. Because if you're a foreigner, that means you have a work permit, and if you have a work permit, therefore you are protected by the Labor Relation Act as well, just like you are just like a South African is protected by the Labor Relation Act. All right. So now, remember, I used to tell you guys that because some restaurants are hiring illegal foreigners, when it comes to tips, they will tell you there's no basic salary. It is wrong. It is wrong. It's against the law. Minimum wage is a law in this country, and it is 3,500 rand. So already laws have been broken by this restaurant called Babel, allegedly. So right now everything is just alleged because we don't have all the facts. So everything I'm saying about Babel restaurant in Menlyn, it is allegations by this young lady Molly. Okay, so the tip thing, there is no way that a restaurant should take any percentage of your tips. Those tips are your tips, no one else's. You're the one who worked your butt out throughout the night, making sure that the patrons of that restaurant come back again because of the service that they've received. No 5%, no 10%, no 100%. Now, because illegal foreigners do not have a say, that is why they hire them. That is exactly what this girl is crying about. They do to them. Everything this girl is crying about, they do to illegal foreigners. Now, you see, she's a South African citizen. As a South African citizen, and you are hired in a restaurant industry and you are seeing the laws of this country being broken, of course you're going to speak. That is exactly what they don't want. Because if they hire a South African and a South African says that, wait a minute, why am I part of a crime scene here? We talk. We talk. This is exactly why they don't hire us, because they know we know our rights and we are legally citizens of this country. So they go for illegal foreigners so that they do what? Exploit them. And if they complain, they get fired on the spot. Now, I suspect the treatment that this girl is getting, it is out of spite because of Operation Chanel. They are basically, what they're trying to do is to put a South African face in case the police come by. This is what is happening here. In case the police come and visit, or maybe even young South Africans marching to restaurants, and then they come to this particular restaurant, the face they are going to show is that of a Xhosa black South African girl and say, "Yay, we have South Africans." And all the other ones that are giving her attitudes and not giving her tables and patrons, when they come to Babel, those are the ones that are not South Africans. I can bet my last toenail, that those that are mistreating her are not South African, including the manager of the restaurant. How do you come to somebody? Because in South Africa, we have freedom of expression. It's in our constitution. How a girl or how a guy wears their hair is it's legal. It's constitutional. It's there. I can wear my hair anywhere I want to as a man. I can leave my beard to grow with an afro as long as I look presentable because you are in a professional environment. There is no way that our law says your hair must be of a particular, what do you call style. It doesn't say that. It doesn't. So, which goes to show that this girl is being vilified simply for being a South African, being hired at Babel restaurant, allegedly. That's all that she's experiencing. It's got nothing to do with everything else. You will probably find out that she's the only one who had to buy the uniform. She's the only one who has to fork out 200 rand for cutlery. Where have you ever heard something crazy as that? Because indeed, when you leave a restaurant at the end of the day, you are searched. Your bags are searched, your persons are searched, you know? So when did they find cutlery in these people's... No, this restaurant is a crime scene. This restaurant needs to close down if all of these allegations are true. Investigate and close it down. Put the owner in jail because this is a crime that is being committed by Babel Restaurant in Menlyn. All these allegations, still allegations, but the authorities need to look into this and put the owner behind bars. We cannot have people like this doing anywhere and anyhow they want in our constitutional democracy. We cannot. We just cannot. Anyways, guys, as you already seen the video, these are my suspicions. Everything that I've said is my suspicions. This restaurant probably just doesn't want South Africans. So now they managed to push her out. Yay, they won. But did they think they were going to get away with the crime that they keep committing in these restaurants allegedly? I don't think so. No South African right in their mind would allow this to happen. Listen, Molly, you committed nothing wrong. You are not soft. You did the right thing by exposing this evil that is taking place in Babel restaurant allegedly. This is evil. This is exactly what we are talking about. Restaurants in this country, they need to be raided by the police and Home Affairs, all of them. And then we must have inspectors doing their jobs and making sure that restaurants are compliant, that if there is a foreign national that works for them, that person has a permit. And secondly, that the Labor Relation Act, it is adhered to by that restaurant. And when it comes to tips belong to the waiter. Whether there's a runner-up or whatever the case might be, they have to get their salary from the restaurant. And the fact there is no contract after how many days of working, this is a crime. This is a crime. The owner of these restaurants must be arrested, prosecuted, convicted, and throw away the keys. This is wrong. My goodness, we're fighting so many things in this country. And I did say that the reason why restaurants don't hire South Africans is because they know South Africans know their rights. But no, South Africans are lazy. No. Please, Government of National Unity, visit this restaurant. Investigate what's going on there. And I'm telling you, everything that is being done there, I believe it's illegal. But other than that, guys, those are allegations. We don't know the facts yet until an investigation has been conducted and a report has been delivered to the people of South Africa to hear exactly what's going on. I hope this is a ripple effect or a snowball effect where all restaurants are now going to be investigated. All of them. And I'm telling you, Gauteng is the guiltiest culprit. I'm telling you. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching the ads. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.